Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and today I want to show you how to use a crystal applicator tool to apply rose pins to fabric. Now, a rose pin, basically what it is it's a flat back crystal. These are Swarovski, and they're basically put into a setting that has these prongs sticking up the back side of them. And what those prongs are going to do is they're going to go through the fabric and then fold over each other and secure the rose pin into place. So it's a great way of adding some sparkle to your fabric, your designs, your clothing, whatever you're working with, your jewelry, and just really easy to do using the crystal applicator tool. So you'll need some rose pins. I've got a little piece of scrap fabric here I'm going to use as some jean material. I have the crystal applicator tool. It has some good weight to it, but I'm not the strongest person in the world and I can still use it very easily. And then you're going to need a specialized die set. When you get the die set, it's going to come in a box like this, and I recommend keeping the box because it has this handy little guide up on the top of it. When you take off the top foam, you're going to notice you've got all these dies very neat and tidy in here, and they correspond with the picture. So there's 3 sizes of rose pins you can apply using this die set. We've got the SS16, the SS20, and the SS34. And over here, that's what these look like. So the SS16 is the smallest. Here's the 20, and here's the 34. So you've got an upper die for each of them, and I'm going to explain what all this means in a moment, but I just want to go through what you get in the die kit first. You're going to have a thumb screw and an adapter, and then for the lower die, you're going to use the same lower die for the SS16s and 20s, and then you're going to have a different lower die for the SS34s. And then you've got these little guys that come with it, and what they are is they're a little adhesive tab and a little applicator to get the adhesive tab into the dies. So I'm going to show you with the largest die, which is going to be for the SS34. And when you look at it, there's a hole that goes all the way through it, just like so. And what we need to do is we need to take one of these little adhesive tabs, peel the paper backing off of it, and it's now sticky. And we're going to turn it over and we're going to put it into the die with the adhesive side down. And you got this little pin right here which is going to help you to push it down and just push it into place. Just like so. And now you'll see over here, now it's a little sticky there. And what's going to happen is when you put your rose pin in there, it's going to now stick. So it just is a way of grabbing it a little bit more. So now what we're going to do to put the top die on is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the adapter, put it down into the opening, the recess of the upper die, and then we're going to take our screw and screw it into place. Just like so. So now this is all connected. The adapter is actually pushing that little adhesive pad down, keeping it in place. And now what we can do is screw this onto place in the top part of your crystal applicator tool. There we go, and it just screws onto place. And since we're doing the SS34 upper die, we want to make sure we have the corresponding SS34. It's marked right on there, lower die. And that just drops into the bottom, and we're going to twist the bottom screw to keep that in place as well. So now that we have our die set, we've got our little adhesive tab up and ready. Now we're ready to apply a rose pin. So now you can turn it over. It might be a little bit easier for you. Put the corresponding size rose pin into the upper die. You don't have anything you're going to put in the bottom. It's just going to help facilitate the process here. So if you're familiar with how to apply jeans buttons or snaps, you're used to having 2 parts. This time you only have 1 part. So now we're going to go ahead and sandwich our fabric between the 2 dies. And we're just going to squeeze. You can hear a little click. And that little click is actually the prongs of the rose pin being folded over. And if you look at it now, we've got the rose pin on the front, and we have the little prongs on the back, which are now all folded over. So that is one way to do it. I'm going to show you one more with that process. So now we're going to go ahead, flip it over, put the rose pin in place, And just double check that all your prongs are facing upward. If one gets bent, you'll just want to bend it backwards so it's all facing forward. Turn it over, and that little adhesive strip is keeping that in place up top. And just go ahead, sandwich your fabric between the two dies and squeeze. You hear that little clicking sound and pull it off, and now you have a wonderful rose pin crystal applied, and you've got the prongs in the back. So like I said, that was one way to do it. And another way to do it, I want to show you with a little bit of a smaller rose pin, just so I can show you the process again of how to set up these dies. So I'm just loosening the screws to remove them. I'm going to unscrew the adapter. All right, so let's say now we want to use an SS20. So we need a different upper die. So we're going to take the SS20 upper die. We do need to put the adhesive tab on the back. You're not going to need to replace this adhesive tab every time. There are several extras, but you're going to get a lot of usage out of this one. So this is not something you're going to do each time you want to use this. So we're going to put that in with the adhesive side down. Use our little pin to push it into place properly. Go ahead, take the adapter, put it with the blunt side down over the adhesive tab. Take your thumb screw, screw it into place. Go ahead, take your adapter, screw it into the top part of your crystal applicator tool. Okay, and now we need a different bottom die as well. So we're going to get the one which is for SS16 through 20. Pop it into place in the bottom, tighten the screw. So now I'm going to take an SS20 rose pin, put it into place. Okay. Sandwich my fabric again. Squeeze. And you've got your rose pin. Now you'll see that I ended up with one little prong that faced outward, and that was because I didn't double check to make sure that all my prongs were facing forward. So you can remedy that just by making sure all your prongs are facing forward. Now if you do find you have a lot of instances like that and it's problemsome, this is what I want to show you how to do. You can take the rose pin itself, make sure all the prongs are facing forward. Using your fingers, go ahead, put the rose pin where you want it on your fabric, and just push the prongs through the fabric. If you have a fabric like this, they go through very easily. You can see all of them sticking out now. So now just take your applicator tool and carefully, very slowly, depress until you feel that you've got it right where it should be lined up on the tool. You don't want to chip a crystal by having it off to the side, but it's pretty easy to just be like, okay, that's in that well, that's fine. I haven't squeezed it yet. I'm just kind of hovering over it, making sure it's where I want it to be. And when you know you've got it, go ahead and squeeze. And there you go. And now you'll see on the back, you've got all your prongs nice and neat and folded over. So that's two different ways you can go ahead and apply these rose pins using the crystal applicator tool.